National Handwriting Day. I'm so excited. It's January 23rd. It's National Handwriting Day. It's time for all the pen lovers to unite and get happy with pens. Hello. It has been like forever and a day. Hi Gwenny. Hi Terry. Hi Sarah. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, sorry for like the crazy bright lights. But I knew I had to jump on because lots of you have been asking where I am, and Crystal, the Money Saving Mom, just shared my coloring page that I did with her quote, and so I wanted to come in and check in with you guys. Hey Tumbo! So for those of you that might be joining for the very first time, welcome. My name is Lisa. I blog at CreativLEI.com, looking at life creatively, which is a little bit of kind of everything from my perspective of as an artist, kind of looking at things outside the box. So I just wanted to come and check in because it's been like forever and a day. So there's finally a new post up on my blog, and it happened to include a great quote from Crystal Payne, the Money Saving Mom, that I got to do in hand lettering, and it's available for download in both color version and black and white if you want to color it yourself. And so I'm using the colored version to make a dashboard for my traveler's notebook. So I have that in front of me, and I'm working on some hand cutting of stuff. Hi Brittany. I sent an email to you guys too. You have a question about the lettering challenge. Well, go ahead. So I figure it's kind of late at night, but we can kind of just get into some random chatting since it's been a while since I've checked in. How much are the supplies that are needed? Actually, I sent an email to Alex to do the lettering challenge, Love Your Lettering, on my website. There's a lot of supplies that I suggest if you would like to get into different types of hand lettering and stuff like that. But I give you tips and tricks throughout the series, like when we're talking about different pens, of how to use things that you already have. Like when we get to the week of calligraphy pens, I showed everyone how to tape two pencils together to use them in the same way that you would a broad nib pen. Hi Maritza, it's good to see you. So yeah, and like when you start to get into brush lettering, if you don't have brush pens, you can totally start using pencil, because the trick behind brush pens and like modern calligraphy with brush pens and pointed pens, like those that get into copperplate and things like that, the whole trick behind that beautiful lettering of the thick and thin is to vary the pressure. You're going really light on the upstrokes and adding pressure on the downstrokes, and you can totally practice that with a regular number 2 pencil. I think you can go through the series with what you have on hand. That way you can learn which styles of letters you really want to study deeper, and you can start investing in pens then. And if you look at each of the videos that kind of goes along with each post, usually during the demonstrations, I've demonstrated a bunch of different pens and kind of given the feedback of which ones I like the most and why, which characteristics they have that kind of make me keep grabbing them. I am left-handed, so I require some pretty tough pens because I hold and push pens in a way that sometimes they're not meant to be used. So anytime you have any questions about that, feel free to ask, because I'm always happy to get on. Hi, Tina. I'm always happy to get on and do a demonstration. And we are snowed in. We have about 30-something inches of snow outside. My children, yeah, lefties unite. Or I guess lefties unite. I hold the phone in the left hand. I don't have it in the tripod yet. We are set to settle on selling this home and buying our new home at the end of February. So Lord willing, everything keeps, falling into the places where it needs to. Yeah, I'm always happy to demo. So I actually took out some paper so that I could do some demonstration tonight, because I thought maybe, for handwriting day, we would have to do some handwriting. So yes, we are set. As long as everything continues to go through, we're still waiting to hear back from our buyer, because we did have a little bit of a hiccup with inspections. So hopefully the repairs that we agreed to do go well with her. So we shall see. But yeah, we're snowed in. We're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere tomorrow either. Our church is canceled because Maryland is in a state of emergency. So yeah, we're not going anywhere. Do I like the Staedtler brand of calligraphy pens? The Staedtler markers were actually the very first calligraphy pens that I've ever used. So yes, I am so excited to have Crystal shout me out and link to me and give me permission to use her words for a coloring page. That was kind of something I was really excited about. When Crystal first announced that she was going to be practicing hand lettering this year, of course I got excited, because the more of you that I can turn on to hand lettering, the better. Because I really think that our handwriting is powerful. I've told you ladies that have followed for a while, I've told you guys plenty of times how important that I feel like handwriting is for our legacy. So I'm always excited to have new people join on. Amazon had so reviews for the Staedtler pens. Were they cartridge pens or the felt tip? Any felt tip calligraphy marker is kind of going to be so-so, because it has the limitations of I don't use the cartridge ones. The felt tip markers don't have the very fine tip that you'll get on a dip pen or even a cartridge pen. So the markers give you some limitations, but they're a little forgiving for someone that's first starting to use a broad tip pen, because you're not scraping metal against paper, which is kind of like one of those things like nails on the chalkboard. You just started proving that writing vision and goals actually puts it into action. Yes, I keep my traveler's notebooks, and it's kind of falling apart right now because I'm putting together my book for 2016, so I'm trying to get all my pieces and parts together, and that's kind of sitting aside here because that's going to be a blog post this week. I need to answer Amy of Raising Arrows, who shared her dislike for planners, and I agreed to give a good tour of my traveler's notebook and why that was the answer for an out-of-the-box planner for me, because I am definitely too type B to have a traditional planner. So I love my traveler's notebooks, and because it doesn't have the ring binding or spiral binding, I like it much better as a left-hander. So yeah, so I printed out the colored copy of the coloring page of Crystal's quote, and that's going to be one of my dashboards. Your handwriting is awful. It probably isn't as bad as you think. If you start to work at it a little bit and get familiar with what the different strokes are that make up the letters, then I think you'll probably notice that with just small tweaks, you can learn to really like it. And then to also look at your writing with plannersquad.com. I'll have to check that out. When you look at your writing from different eyes, like I know that when I first started paying more attention to my penmanship, I started to look at the characteristics of my letters that were reminiscent of my mom's handwriting, which was also reminiscent of her mom's handwriting. And so like I can see some of those similarities. Righties dislike ring binders too. Glad I'm not the only one. Yeah, I have one for the Documented Life project, and I just don't like the rings. So yeah, I feel like the handwriting is just an important thing. Do I know a fun way to get young children into penmanship? It depends if they're girls or boys. My girls are all over the pens and the writing, and my boys not so much. I did with my oldest son, I think it was his second year at home, so that might have been 3rd grade or 4th grade. Instead of doing traditional handwriting, I gave him a calligraphy pen and let him study calligraphy because he found that much more fun than doing regular penmanship. So yeah, 1st grade teacher using shaving cream. Yeah, I could get them to do that for the early handwriting, but when it came to perfecting their penmanship, my boys were not really interested. We still have kind of debates over that with I have one boy and one girl that are still homeschooling, and the others are in public school. And so we have the handwriting discussion often, and cursive writing too. So I'm kind of working on that too. And actually, my 3rd grader in public school is learning cursive this year, so not all schools have given it up. But my son that's home in 6th grade does not want to learn, and he's a lefty, and I keep trying to tell him that cursive might actually be a little bit easier for him, but you know, of course, Mom doesn't know what she's talking about. Do any kids like write? My girls do. They want to learn how to write in cursive. They want to learn decorative writing, so they're kind of embracing it. And my oldest son does like calligraphy, but regular writing, not so much. It's good to hear. It's good to be able to chat with you guys. I know. I think cursive is important, and it's faster too most of the time. So once you learn it, much better for your 3rd grade lefty. Yeah, and I was trying to explain that to my son, that the letters that run together become a little bit gentler on his hands, and I'm trying to get him to tell me whether he feels muscle fatigue or whether it's really frustration. But yeah, he doesn't want to really talk about it. So I gotta brainstorm that with him. So all right, so what have you guys done today? Who else is stuck in snow, and is it good stuck in snow, or is it like, oh, I can't wait to get out? We're hoping that they plow tomorrow, and then probably Monday would be kind of back to normal, but even if it isn't, we are well stocked. I did all my shopping right before the snow came. 24 inches, yeah, I think we had 31. And we are stocked on craft supplies and food, so we could be here another week and we would not have to worry about anything. You've been crocheting all day and shoveling all tomorrow. Yeah, we won't shovel till tomorrow either, and we have got quite a big long driveway that will need to get done. So thankfully we have a few children that like to help that, but usually they like to go to the neighbors so that they can try to earn money. So we'll see if we have help or if we'll be doing it. So I thought maybe I would put the phone in the tripod, and if you guys would like to see any lettering demonstrations, we'll do a little bit of that. WordPress took over your day. Yeah, I'm trying to work out because some of the emails for the downloads are not going out correctly, so I've been trying to head that off so that nobody gets too frustrated, because I haven't quite figured out where the disconnect is and why some people are automatically getting the download and some people are not. So until I get that figured out, I just keep kind of cleaning up behind it. So I'm going to go ahead and flip the camera, and I will put it in my little desktop tripod, and we'll play a little bit. So my desk is mostly cleaned off. So let's see if my little tripod wants to play. So here's what I'm working on, some things for. I printed off the coloring page. I printed it off booklet style, so I will cut this and it will be part of, I need to replace my laminated dashboard. This is the one that I used last year, and it is very well loved and used, and it's coming apart, so I need to create a new one. So I'm trying to pick out glitter paper that kind of coordinates with this one, and then I'm going to laminate those of you that have been following for a little while know that my word for 2016 is focus, and I've been doing a lot of arrows because to me arrows and focus go together. So I'm cutting out the word, and I'll put that on top of here and laminate that, and that will be part of the dashboard too, since I've got 4 sides to play with, so we'll see. So that's what that's going. So how do I laminate? I have the Scotch laminator. Hey, why don't we, if you would like to see, I don't have it fully finished and ready, but the laminator is plugged in. I can finish cutting this and then we can get this laminated. Yeah, this was in the dollar spot. It's a greeting card, and so I'm just going to cut the card and use the front page. So let's see. So some people were asking, I saw on Crystal's site, were asking what to print the coloring page off on. And I use the bright white laser paper from Staples. I just bought a new package, so it's this one. So I use that in my printer, and I also use it, oh, don't be afraid, it's really fun once you do it, and then you find like all the different things to laminate. And I use this printer paper for my lettering practice also because it's really smooth. It's got a nice fine tooth to it, so it doesn't eat up my pens the way regular printer paper sometimes can. Like copy grade paper is not very smooth, and so it kind of tears apart the markers. And so, how do you get the coloring pages? If you go visit my blog at CreativLEI.com, the most recent post, it's called Your Story Matters. On that post is a place to put in your email to receive a link to the download. And if you have problems, just send me an email, and I'll make sure that I go in and make sure that the page gets sent to you. Thank you, Gwenny. Sometimes that's what happens when I go too long between posts. I have to do like a big long post that kind of explains where my heart is, because I always feel like when I take a break, whether it's planned or unplanned from blogging, like I need to communicate with you guys and let you know where I'm at. So I really appreciate that you guys have all taken the time to read that, because it means a lot to me, and I love getting messages from you guys that says that it was words that mattered to you also, because that's why I write, is that I want to be able to say the things that I need to hear too, or that I needed to hear, a couple weeks or a couple years ago. So, and that's kind of what that post was all about, was just encouraging you all too, is that there's someone else out there that needs to hear your story. And so don't give up or don't shy away from sharing it thinking that your story is not enough, because it absolutely is, and there's someone out there that's searching for those words. So that's kind of where I've been lately, is kind of coming to that realization and kind of not letting the doubts get the best of me, as they often can. Thank you. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope there's something in there that's meaningful. Hi! So, thank you. Yeah, I'm sure we'll dig out. It's so funny though, because I was just reading an article in the Baltimore Sun that says that the last time we had this snow was 13 years ago. And that happened to be exactly when we moved in here. So to hear that, around the same time that we were closing on the purchase of this home is now when we're getting ready to sell this home. So, we came in a snowstorm and we'll go out in a snowstorm. So I guess it kind of went full circle. It was nice to meet you, Jean. and I'm sorry, I'm assuming that that was your name, but if this is your first time on one of my broadcasts, and if I don't already know your name, I would love to get to know you a little more. Jen Roberts. Ah, okay. Now I see. Well, thank you, Jen. So I do not have a die cut machine, so when I want words that are die cut, I have to do them myself. And so that's what I'm doing here. I used to do this all the time for titles in my scrapbooking. Hi, Elizabeth. It's nice to meet you. Oh, good. A planner enthusiast. Are you a traveler's notebook person, or are you ring bound? I find that we have quite a mix. I know that lately I've been getting a lot of people finding me through bullet journaling, which is kind of neat. I don't exactly follow typical bullet journaling either, but I've definitely adopted some of the practices. Hi, Charlene. It's nice to meet you. California. Yeah, so you do not have 30 inches of snow. Hi, Michelle. Into calligraphy and a calligrapher that's into everything. Yeah, that would be me too. Definitely a Jill of many trades. I am an artist by training and by, I guess, I feel by calling, but I definitely play with a lot of different medium. I'm also a fiber artist. I hand dye and spin yarn. You know, I knit on occasion, but lately my focus has been on my hand lettering and doing things like that, just because with the children around, it seems to be the easiest. Finally getting rain. I'm so glad that you guys are getting rain. I know you guys have been in quite a crisis without it. Oh, thank you. Yeah, we really had fun with the lettering, and there's lots of people that have just recently found that series, which has been fun for me to try and get to know those that are just finding the series now. So, let's see. I'm glad I have my... Okay. So, yeah, I am actually going to do a Periscope this week specifically about my traveler's notebook, but it's basically a leather cover that has these elastics in it that hold the different books. And so, like, I use Moleskine notebooks that I do kind of a modified bullet journaling. So I draw out my monthly planner, and then I have my weekly. So there's my planner. I have a book for lists. I have a brain dump book, and then I have a book for quotes and things. So this is my new one for 2016. If you've followed my Instagram, you've seen lots of pages from 2015. So this is my new one. So I'm kind of putting together everything this week, and I'll jump on a Periscope that's specifically for a good full tour of the Traveler's Notebook. So this is going to be for the dashboard. Get my scissors. I do not. I have to figure out if I can get them in bulk, because that would be actually very helpful, because I do sell painted and hand lettered Moleskines, so purchasing them in bulk would certainly be a blessing. So I need to look into that. So I just cut the front off the card. So let's see, I've got that one. Children have absconded with my paper trimmer. Let's see if I can find that. Alright, so of course I did not use the big tabletop tripod. I have have not sold the dashboards yet. Mostly I kind of play with them for my use. So let's see if I want to. I'm thinking that this glitter matches pretty well. So I've got that one. That one goes too. Alright, so, oops. Alright, so I think I'm going to cut this out as well. So I just printed today's printable on a regular inkjet printer. So I'm probably going to drive the phone crazy. It won't be able to focus. But, oh, thank you. So, I do enjoy teaching, kind of, in a sense, especially adult women. Back when I first started staying at home, I was involved in a local MOPS group, and I got to be the creative activities leader. And the fun thing about that was being able to give a sense of accomplishment to a room full of moms that typically were dealing with preschooler, like they're any children under kindergarten age. Do I have favorite scissors? I use a bunch of different ones. These are EK Success, I think they're Cutter Bees, because they've got a nice fine tip, but my children have ruined these. But kind of giving moms a creative outlet, not necessarily art, but just a project that they could start and finish and kind of see some beauty in, was really rewarding, especially when it was something that was useful. Like we did cake decorating, we made fleece blankets, so not just art projects. Okay. So I'm just cutting around. I'm not cutting the dots that are on the outside of the oval. Oh, it's good to see you. Yeah, I was chatting and now I'm gonna make a dashboard for my traveler's notebook. So that's why I kind of knew not to put the hashtag quickscope, because I knew I was gonna get chatty and I knew it might be a little bit random. So we'll see. Alright, okay, so I've got that cut out, and I'm going to kind of use the same measurements that I did previously. Alright, so let me figure how. 5 inches. Am I still selling travelers with words on the front? Yes, I am. There is a shop. There's a shop page on my site. I need to update it a bit and put up some new notebooks. But yes, they are still for sale. I still do custom work, but I'm trying to get some finished ones up there too, so that it's a little bit easier for picking and choosing. Okay, so I'm cutting on the back side of it to not run the blade against the glitter. Ooh, sorry. Alright, so that was 5 inches by 8 1/4. best place to leave messages is Instagram. If you will email me through my site, that's actually better. Instagram doesn't always give me notifications of the private messages. I don't know why that is, but I've noticed that I'm missing a lot of messages lately. So I would definitely say try me right through the site, CreativLEI.com. If you go to the contact area, that would actually be the best bet. Okay, so I'm kind of cutting all my backgrounds for the dashboard. Yeah, that actually looks nicer on there. So, and then, so I've got 1, 2, 3, and then I'll put, let's see, cardstock or something behind that one. How has your weekend been? I'm rummaging for cardstock. Alright, so we've got, this one is going to go here, and then I might go ahead and cut a second one of that same color. 1, 2, I need 4 sides total. Focus was cut by me. What I did was I drew it out on, here, I'll show you quickly. So how I did that was use a pencil and write out you write out your word and kind of darken it with the pencil. So you write it out the proper way, and since I was going to be doing it on the black glitter, I needed to get it backwards on this page. And so what I did was then I put that face down and I used a bone folder and just rubbed the graphite. And what it does is makes a transfer that you can trace, and then I was able to cut along that edge. So that's how I got focus cut out of the black. So thank you. Yeah, I've done lots of hand cutting just because I've never been able to justify a die cut machine. So just kind of got good at cutting it all myself. I'm trying to find cardstock. This is pretty. Alright, so that goes well with that. So what I was trying to find was something that would make sense to have this on, that coordinates with that arrow, and then it also looks like something I prefer on the back. Okay, so that will go like that. And then I've got this one on the glitter, and I'll do that one. Alright, let me grab a sheet for the laminator, and then we'll go over to the laminator. Actually, first thing I want to do is, I like the rounded corners, so I'm going to decide which one will be my front. It's going to be this one. Okay, so that's actually, I want the different, a bigger, there it is. And then this one, sorry, gotta get it kind of all laid out so that it makes sense before it goes through the machine, because once it goes through the machine, there's no changing it. So I've got my Tumbo Extreme adhesive, which I've quickly gotten very attached to. I missed that last question. I'm so sorry. I'm running around a little too much, I think. There. I'm gonna just put a little dab. I'm not too worried about gluing the whole thing down since it's gonna be laminated in place. I just want to have it kind of situated before it goes through the machine. So there's that one. And I'm okay with it going off the edge because I do leave some gutter space to go in the spine of my traveler's notebook. Keep grabbing the wrong one. On the floor. Okay, let me just glue these two together. The two glitter sheets Thank you. I know it's really late. I appreciate you guys hanging in there. This probably should have been its own scope tomorrow. Alright, so I'm going to get that in place there. And I want to do this quote on this page. So basically I'm just checking to make sure. Would I do another series like the 31 days? I definitely would like to do another series. I don't know that it will be another 31 days because that got a little chaotic. I think probably a shorter one that's more specific, like maybe a week or 2 weeks in one particular discipline of lettering would be kind of the next step. Okay, so I'm not sure how I'm going to do this one-handed. Alright, so I've got it in the laminating sheet the way that I want it. So this will be the front of my cover, and then this will be one of the back dashboards because it's going to kind of fold and go between my different notebooks. Okay, and so now I'm just gonna feed this through. And I will end up running it through the laminator probably 2 or 3 times, just to make sure everything is nice and sealed. Excuse me. And you can see it coming through. So yeah, the 2 pieces of the glitter cardstock might be a little bit thick, so they'll take another pass to kind of make sure that this is nice and sealed. Yes, you definitely need to take your laminator out of the box and play with it. So I'm going to pass this through another time. And it usually takes me like 2 or 3 times just to make sure everything gets sealed around it, since those things are, they're kind of bulky and chunky with the layers. So it took me a long time to use my laminator also, but then once I finally did take it out and start using it, it was good. Okay. And it's like watching paint dry. Alright. So now most of the sides are sealed, but it still needs another pass because I can still see a little bit of separation there. So this time I'm going to pass it through on the other side. I've used this to make dry erase pages for my toddler. I cut her out some coloring pages and then laminated them, and then she can use them as dry erase pages. And for morning work, also for my older homeschoolers, they've done that kind of dry erase style also. But yeah, mostly I'm laminating things for my planner lately. So there, I've got a little bit of bling, a lot of color. Once it's cooled, I'll end up cutting a notch into the center because I like that little notch. I'll show you. Here's on my old one. This, I just cut a little bit of a notch by hand between the two sides, because then that will kind of get caught under the elastics of the spine of my traveler's notebook, and so that it doesn't slide through with use. So that's where I'm at for tonight. I think I'll probably go ahead and end this really long broadcast before it's 1 o'clock in the morning. So that's kind of a little update on me. That's what's going on here. I will be on again. Not sure if I'll be on tomorrow, but I need to do the whole Traveler's Notebook scope so that I can put that up on the blog. You're welcome. I'm so glad that you enjoyed it. I know this is a long one, and I wasn't fully prepared, so it was a little bit like watching the paint dry or the grass grow. But hopefully, if you've been kind of wondering how to make a dashboard, this is, for me, this is the easiest way to do it for a traveler's notebook. Certainly, if you use a ring-bound book, then you don't need to make them all together. You can cut them and punch holes and stuff, but it's really, really easy just to kind of layer things and let it go. So I'm excited to put together my traveler's notebook for 2016, kind of update everything, because now it's actually been a year since I've been using this system, and it definitely is what has worked best for me. And I kind of worked through different inserts last year trying to figure out what it was that I liked and what I was using. So kind of putting that together this year, I feel like I have a little bit more understanding of what I wanted in a book. And so like last year I bought a planner from May Designs, but I ended up not really using it. I was drawing out my own grids anyway. So this year switching to all Moleskines was really nice and easy. Hi, Kat! I'm sure you're snowed in also. We've got like 2.5 feet up here, so I know no henna this week. But I do have a pretty good, I've got a good stain from last week. I don't know if anybody saw that on Instagram. I've got my anchor and hope on my finger. I've got love on my hand, and I've got foot henna. So thank you. Blessings to you as well. I hope your Sunday is wonderful. We are going to be here at home, so I don't know, maybe we'll break out the Picture Smart Bible for the children and go over the books that we're studying at church. So we shall see. But thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. I know it was a really late one. It was a really long one, but I so enjoy getting to chat with you guys, and hopefully this week will be a little more back on my game. And we need to do some lettering demonstrations real soon. So I will definitely jump on for that. So I will see you guys soon. I hope you have a great weekend.